the Chi-Town experience on the flight. Let me go tune in to Keek on the mic. He gon' make sure we get our news and highlights. When you get on YouTube, you better hit the like.
Hey, what's going on, Bears fans? Thank you so much for joining me for another episode of Keek on the Mic, the podcast all about the Chicago Bears. As always, if you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button and the notification to catch all Bears content right here on the podcast. So, Bears fans, in honor of the 2025 NFL Draft being 3 weeks from today, I am going to actually be doing a live 3-round Chicago Bears mock draft through the PFF mock draft simulator. PFF is personally my favorite because I feel like it is the most realistic mock draft simulator out there. I know other Bears fans may have some difference in opinions on simulators that they like, but I personally like the PFF mock draft simulator. But before I go any further with today's episode of Keek on the Mic, I once again want to share the opportunity that I have for some Bears fans to earn some extra income. I already had a couple of Bears fans reach out to me saying that they were interested. So if you guys are interested in this opportunity to earn some extra money, just comment down below and say interested, and I will reach out to you, and then we can connect, and I can share you guys more on the opportunity how you guys can earn extra income on my team. Before we go any further with this live 3-round mock draft through the PFF mock draft simulator, I do want to share some Chicago Bears offseason updates. The Chicago Bears actually began their offseason program on Monday, April 7th. The voluntary minicamps is set for April 21st to the 23rd. And then the OTA dates are as follows: May 20th through the 22nd, May 27th through the 30th, June 9th through the 11th. And then the Bears will also host a 3-day mandatory minicamp June 3rd to June 5th. So really exciting times as Ben Johnson officially begins his journey as the new Chicago Bears head coach. And as the season gets ever closer, just wanted to share those quick offseason updates with you guys. So Bears fans, as always, I also want to give you guys a huge shout out for helping me get to 17,000 subscribers. It's a really humbling thing that you guys continue to show me all the love and support and continue to help me grow Keek on the Mic. I love this platform, and I love every single one of you guys that continue to support the channel. So once again, thank you guys so much for 17,000 subscribers, and let's continue to grow Keek on the Mic right here on YouTube. So here we go. As I'm going through this PFF mock draft simulator, the 3-round mock draft for the Chicago Bears on today's episode of Keek on the Mic, make sure you guys continue to engage with me. I absolutely love when you guys are commenting your thoughts and your opinions on what you believe Ryan Poles and the Chicago Bears will do in the upcoming 2025 NFL Draft. But just for clarification, this is a mock draft simulator, so it can go any way possible. So make sure you guys don't come at me too hard as we go through this mock draft simulator. So here we go. I'm going to put it up for you guys, so now you guys can see it on the screen. We're going to set it for 3 rounds for the Chicago Bears. Make sure we're actually selecting the Chicago Bears, and we're going to keep everything the same. All the filters are going to be the same to try to make it as realistic as possible. So here we go. We're going to start the mock draft simulator here. And like as always, we've been talking about this for the last couple of weeks. The Bears are absolutely loaded in the first 3 rounds of the 2025 NFL Draft. We have picks 10, 39, 41, and 72. So the cool thing for Ryan Poles and the Bears is that they can go in any direction that they want to just because of how Ryan Poles attacked free agency. He upgraded the trenches in a big way on the interior of the offensive line. Added some edge rusher and a defensive tackle as well in free agency. So now his draft board is wide open. So let's go ahead and see how the draft board falls. So obviously the Titans picked Cam Ward. Browns picked Travis Hunter. Mason Graham went 3rd to the New York Giants. Will Campbell went to the Patriots. Ashton Jeanty went to the Jags. Abdul Carter went number 6 to the Raiders. Shador Sanders went to the Jets. Armand Membu went to the Panthers. And Matthew Golden, wide receiver, went to the New Orleans Saints. So maybe a little bit unrealistic with a couple of picks here. Personally, you guys already know my opinion. If Abdul Carter happens to make it to even number 5, I would argue or urge Ryan Poles and the Bears to maybe make that big trade up and get Abdul Carter on the Bears. And even Ashton Jeanty going to the Jags. That makes a little bit no sense here in the mock draft simulator. But obviously, the first 2 picks, I can definitely see maybe the Giants take Mason Graham, but I can also see the Giants taking a flyer on Shedeur Sanders as well. Obviously, the New York Jets just signed Justin Fields to the 2-year deal, so maybe that makes not that much sense. So I can see Shedeur Sanders possibly going to the New York Giants, Mason Graham going to the Jags, and then Abdul Carter should be up here a little bit further up as well, maybe to the Cleveland Browns, but Travis Hunter is also a solid pick for the Browns as well. So let's go ahead and look at the draft board with the number 10 overall pick. I don't think the Bears are interested in a wide receiver. There has been some rumors that there's growing buzz that receiver may be higher on the draft board to pair with DJ Moore and Roma Dunze, but it's not a dire need for the Chicago Bears. We have talked about Jahdae Barron, cornerback maybe being higher on the Bears draft board, but maybe not with the number 10 overall pick. Tyler Warren obviously makes a whole lot of sense for the Chicago Bears. Maybe a trade back and taking Mike Green out of Marshall. Will Johnson, cornerback. James Pierce, edge rusher. Kenneth Grant in a trade back would also be huge. So let's go ahead and maybe look at the trades first before we make our final decision. So here we go. We have the Arizona Cardinals first and foremost interested in the number 10 overall pick. Maybe in a trade back you can get 1647. And maybe a next year's 3rd or 4th, right? Let's say a next year's 3rd for the 10th overall pick. And this one says that has a 33% chance to be accepted. That's definitely something that I could be intrigued in. Maybe a trade back and maybe land still a game-changing player. So let's go ahead and look at the other teams that are interested. The Green Bay Packers. Hell no, we're not trading with the Green Bay Packers. There's no way in hell that any Bears fan in their mock draft simulator will trade with the Green Bay Packers. Baltimore Ravens at 27, the Washington Commanders at 29, and the Las Vegas Raiders at 37 are interested in number 10 overall pick. I think the Ravens, Commanders, and obviously the Raiders are way too far back to trade back, and obviously we're not trading with the Green Bay Packers. So here we go. We have the Arizona Cardinals. We still have Tyler Warren on the board, which is very, very intriguing. But another player that I really like as well, Bears fans, is Kenneth Grant out of Michigan. I think adding him to the defensive line would be huge. The question is if we trade back, will Kenneth Grant still be on the board? That is the biggest concern. As much as I love to trade back with the Arizona Cardinals and get that extra 2nd round pick, possibly to maybe a pick next year or next year's draft as well, I'm concerned that if we trade back, the guy that we actually want may not be on the board. So I'm going to go ahead and look a little bit more at Tyler Warren. We know about Tyler Warren. When you look at the first look, 6'6", 261 pounds. He can do everything you want him to do. He plays everywhere, right? He could play in the backfield. He could play in the wildcat, play in the slot. Really, really good hands. Really, really good blocker. Just like Ben Johnson said, he is the definition of a football player. Obviously, Dennis Allen talked about how Tyler Warren would be a matchup nightmare for opposing defenses. I know that we have Cole Kmet and maybe doesn't really make too much sense, I guess, to take Tyler Warren, but this is the flexibility that Ryan Poles has going into the NFL draft since he handled his business in free agency. So if Tyler Warren is the best player on his board, which I believe if Ashton Jeanty is on the board, they would take Ashton Jeanty. I feel the same way about Tyler Warren. So I know a lot of Bears fans may not agree with this, but just how this shaped out on today's episode of Kick on the Mic with this mock draft simulator, I'm going to go ahead and take Tyler Warren with the number 10 overall pick in the 2025 NFL draft. So here we go. Now moving down to round 2, pick number 39. We look at some options. Luther Burden III, a wide receiver out of Missouri. We have a linebacker, Josh Conley Jr., the tackle out of Oregon. It's a guy that I am looking closely at, maybe to bring in some extra competition for Karan Amagaji and Braxton Jones. We've been talking a lot about the tackle position. I know that Ryan Poles has reiterated time and time again that Ben Johnson has even given Braxton Jones his vote of confidence as well, but I can definitely see them bringing in a little bit more competition for the tackle position if they feel a little bit uncertainty about Karan Amagaji going into year 2, and especially Braxton Jones going into a contract year. So let's go ahead and look at Josh Conley Jr. out of Oregon. You look at the first look, 6'4", 315 pounds. This is a very, very, very good football player. I think you'd bring in the necessary competition. Look at his grades. Run block grade of 72.5, pass block grade of 83.6. Just a good football player. Last year, only 1 sack given up, 2 quarterback hits, and 6 quarterback hurries, and he plays all left tackle. Played a little bit of right guard for a couple of snaps in 2024, but not a lot. He is primarily a left tackle. I know a lot of Bears fans absolutely would love this pick as well. And even when you look at most drafted by, 15% of the time, the Chicago Bears, or people that are doing these mock draft simulators, have the Chicago Bears taking Josh Conerly Jr. So let's go ahead and address the trenches by taking tackle Josh Conerly Jr. And now moving on to pick 41 in round 2. We still have Luther Burden III, wide receiver out of Missouri. We have Xavier Watts, safety out of Notre Dame. Can they take a corner? Maybe they take an edge rusher in Landon Jackson. When you look at the Chicago Bears needs, we still need a running back. We still need a defensive lineman, and we do need a safety. So would this be a good spot to maybe take a look at Xavier Watts? And I know that we have Jaquan Brisker coming back, and really, really high on Jaquan Brisker. But the fact of the matter is, Jaquan Brisker definitely has some injury history. And then when you look at Kevin Byard, right, he's a little older. I think he's on the last year of his deal. I'm not sure if the Bears have plans to extend him for a couple of more years. I think he played excellent last year for the Chicago Bears defense, but Xavier Watts can definitely be a player worth looking at. So let's go ahead and click on him a little bit. 6 foot, 203 pounds. I talked a lot about Watts in prior videos. Best ball hockey safety in this class. Very, very intelligent player. I think it would be good value. I'm at pick number 41. And like I said, you can play everywhere on the field as well. Coverage grade 89.5, run defense grade 79.5. Really, really good player. But I also want to take a look, because I know a lot of Bears fans are going to want to take a look at the running back position here. Let's look at the running backs available. You have Cam Scadaboo available, Arizona State, Quinshawn Junkins, Dylan Sampson, Caleb Johnson, and Travion Henderson. So we could possibly wait to take our running back in round 3. I know this part of the draft will probably be the sweet spot for a lot of teams to take running back, so we have to be careful on what we do here. So I'm going to look at the running back position. Really love Quinshawn Junkins out of Ohio State. Dylan Sampson out of Tennessee, a really good running back. Caleb Johnson is a Chicago Bears fan favorite as well. Travion Henderson, the guy has the long speed, really, really good football player. I can see him fitting very, very well here in Chicago with Ben Johnson and Caleb Williams. Let me know down below in the comment section what you guys would do here, because for me, it's definitely between Xavier Watts and taking a running back. I think I'm not going to take Cam Scadaboo. I think Quinshawn Junkins is a guy that I really like. If you remember Eddie George a while back, after he did his interview, head coach interview with the Chicago Bears, he mentioned that Quinshawn Junkins and Travion Henderson at the time were very high on Ryan Poles and the Chicago Bears board. So let's go ahead and take a look at Quinshawn Junkins, a very, very good player. This is the power back, 3-down back that the Chicago Bears could be looking for. In 2024, had a very good year, over 1,000 rushing yards, 14 touchdowns, 22 receptions for 161 receiving yards, a 90 grade on rushing grade. Zone grade was an 85.2. This is a guy, like I said, that can come in and pair very, very well with DeAndre Swift in the backfield. This is the hard one, Bears fans, because I really like Xavier Watts too, but I have a concern that we would be able to get maybe a safety later on in the draft. And like I said, this could definitely be the sweet spot for a running back. So I'm going to go ahead and select Quinshawn Junkins, 6 foot, 219 pound running back out of Ohio State with pick 41. Now moving on to round 3. At the top of the board, Shamar Turner, defensive lineman out of Texas A&M. We have Ursery, tackle out of Minnesota. CJ West, defensive lineman out of Indiana. I think I'm going to go ahead and continue to upgrade the trenches here. Let's go ahead and take a look at Shamar Turner here. The first look for him, 6'4", 300 pounds. And as you look at it, Turner played at just about every spot on Texas A&M defensive line. So very versatile player. When you're looking at the stats, he had 2 sacks, 1 quarterback hit, 18 hurries. Not the best year for him, but I think this is a guy that can come in and be an impact player and develop well, be behind guys like Grady Jarrett and Javon Dexter and Andrew Billings. And once again, when you're looking at the draft board on how PFF has it, he ranks 55th, right? Pick number 72. That would be very, very good value for the Chicago Bears. The Chicago Bears could also look maybe at adding a safety at this spot. Kevin Winston Jr., safety out of Penn State. Lathan Ransom, safety out of Ohio State. Very good players. Andrew Makuba, safety out of Texas. Remember, there was some representation at the Texas Pro Day, right? So maybe they were taking a look at Makuba as well. But in round 3, we took care of our running back. We got a tight end as well. We got a tackle. I think the Bears are going to at least add one more player to the trenches on the defensive line and the offensive line. So I'm going to go ahead and take a swing on Shamar Turner, defensive lineman out of Texas A&M, to end this 3-round Chicago Bears mock draft. So as it simulates here, round 1, pick number 10, I took Tyler Warren out of Penn State. Round 2, pick number 39, I took tackle Josh Carnley Jr. Out of Oregon. Then took my running back, Quinshon Judkins out of Ohio State with pick 41. And then round 3, pick 72, I took Shamar Turner, the defensive lineman out of Texas A&M, to give me a overall grade of a B+. So Bears fans, overall, what do you grade my 3-round Chicago Bears mock draft on the PFF mock draft simulator? And what would you have done differently with this 3-round mock draft as it fell to us on today's mock draft simulator? Let me know down below in the comment section. But as always, Bears fans, I hope you guys had a good time on today's episode of Geek on the Mic. Make sure you guys continue to hit that subscribe button and the notification to catch all Bears content right here on the podcast. Make sure you follow me on all my social media platforms, and make sure you share this episode of Geek on the Mic with every single Bears fan that you know. But other than that, be back for our all-new Bears podcast right here on Geek on the Mic. Thanks, guys, and as always, bear down.
You ain't bout it, you ain't bout it, you ain't Geek on the Mic. You ain't bout it, you ain't bout it, you ain't Geek on the Mic. You can go and subscribe, cause I be on it right. You ain't bout it, you ain't bout it, you ain't Geek on the Mic.